Hey, what's up? This is your girl Diamond, and I have a special treat for y'all. I have George Lee. He is one of the hosts of the Chop Up podcast. He has a master's degree. Now, y'all know here at Marshall's Play, we don't give a fuck about the white man's degrees and shit. But when black folks got that shit, I want to name it because, we know how hard and the obstacles the shit we have to get that shit. So I want to name it. He has a master's degree in human relation and adult higher education with a graduate certificate in women and gender studies. He currently is assistant director of debate at University of Oklahoma. Is that right? Because of his dope ass debate skills, which we can tell. How I came to know him is he's a social media personality on TikTok, Instagram, and all the other rest of the social medias that I love it because his humor and his angle that he goes in dismantling all the shit that I love to dismantle and examine. I think he is funny, and I think he's doing the work in a way that is rarely seen in cisgender men. So I wanted to bring him on the show, and so welcome.
Hey, I feel honored. I feel honored to got the invitation. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. So, as a social conscious Black woman, when I'm navigating spaces with men, it's almost like, especially within like the conscious movements and the social political identity, it always seems like I'm like walking through a minefield. It feels like you feel safe at first because they're calling out this racial shit that I'm resonating with because I'm like, oh, quote unquote, he woke, and when he comes, he has this racial analysis that's really, really powerful that I'm resonating with. But then you hear him talk about something that's like with gender and homophobia and anything outside of race, you're like, whoa, especially when we talk about like marriage and
real quick, man.
Yeah, it just the lights flip on, especially when we talk about marriage, especially shit like who is your wife or your mama. Get in the car. They get in the car. Is who's gonna be in the front seat? All that bullshit like that. When you get who get the plates first, all that kind of shit. It gets real weird, and I'll be like, whoa, this might not be who I'm following, And so I remember I had bought Hidden Colors on accident from Tariq Nasheed. And I was like, oh, this is going to be fire. Because I didn't really follow him, but I like documentaries and shit. And I was like, damn, I hate this motherfucker got my money. Because I don't like him. So I wanted to bring you on the show because you just have a fresher take. And I want to know how did you get to your line of thinking about like gender and queer folks and stuff like that, being a cisgender heterosexual man?
Man, to be real, I think that I always kind of had a different. I hate to use this word, but if we being real, I feel like talking about a younger George. I think that I've always had like a different tolerance for different gender identities and different. I feel like sexual identities in terms of. I feel like people that's not straight, people that's not, what I'm saying, liking what I like. From the small little town I grew up in. But to be honest with you, I feel like took it to a different level, to the next level, is when I joined the debate team. I joined the debate team in college. And when I joined the debate team in college, of course, you know what I'm saying, like you talked about when you go to different, rallies and different intimate spaces for Black folks, you run into some pro-Black brothers that be like, shit with shits. So I was when I got onto public policy debate as a college debater, that's what I did in terms of debating who I was. If I was debating Harvard or some random junior college, they was going to get this Black power. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And through kind of, I feel like being in like the intellectual trenches of just really going back and forth with a lot of different people. And in my opinion, a lot of the smartest people that my country has to offer in my generation. You feel me? I got to debate against them for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? So me debating like this, I came across people that was talking about trans rage, or I debated, Black women that talked about Black feminism or Black womanism. You know what I'm saying? I debated people that talked about like the death of Matthew Shepard, and I learned about futurity and learned about how, I learned a lot of deep shit from doing debate because I had to take, you know what I'm saying? I had to defend my black political, social, economic implications of the hood, and I had to maybe debate against somebody that was maybe a diehard feminist, and I had to learn about their stuff, you know what I'm saying, and their impacts. And through me being in this activity for 4 years, you feel me? I think that it has made it where I developed a real deep intellectual academic understanding of race, class, gender, sexuality, and ability. And I think that me being from the hood, you know what I'm saying, both of my parents experiencing, you know what I mean, of being convicted felons, and you know what I'm saying, I feel like the experiences I have being in the hood, being from the hood, being still having ties to the hood. I'm from Bryan College Station, Texas. Shout out to everybody in West Side. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Texas. Wow.
That I think that it made it different for how it come out of my mind, how I think about it, how I build my analysis different from other folks, because I'm gonna filter it through the black hood experience first. It don't matter what the white folks told me to think about in terms of respectability or whatever. I'm gonna filter it through my experiences, and that's usually how I break it down.
Mm. So and that's amazing. That's why I like people to read. You don't necessarily have to go to college, but you got to get into some books and read and really just do the work, and don't just go about what people. Because there's a lot of people who think they know shit, and especially when it comes to gender and biology, because they always try to bring up biology shit with trans folks. And I'm like, you are trying to debate me with a fucking 8th grade education on biology.
Hey, don't you do not disrespect the 8th graders like that. They should be like 6th, 5th grade. I'm talking about, like, even to me, I think that like usually it'd be like, hey man, you just take some generic ass understandings of biology. Boys that ain't never gave a damn about science today in their life, all of a sudden become Bill, now the science guy, Mr. Biologist. We start talking about trans identity, and for me, it's usually something I ain't for. You know what I'm saying? I value facts over feelings. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn what we talking about, and I don't care who feelings get hurt. I value facts over feelings. So when we start talking about trans identities and niggas start getting into being some biologists, I just be like, let's debate then. Let's go there.
Yeah, let's bring up some real shit. So, in what I find hard to kind of navigate with what I said earlier is how can I be in solidarity when I don't with men, when I don't always feel safe. That's number one, and I'm not. That's kind of rhetorical a little bit, but especially within the backdrop of, we out here trying to fight for y'all to get out of prisons, stop mass incarcerations, stop. Not that we don't know that non-black cishet men are getting murdered by police, but we know y'all are disproportionately getting the brunt of it, but. We want to be out here fighting for y'all because we pro-black, and we see the system from directly. But it's hard to be in solidarity with cishet men who actually don't value us. And so how are you navigating the spaces with them? Because, well, at least you're one of them. So at least you got some skin in the game in that way. But it's hard from my vantage point. What do you recommend? How do I get feel safer in those spaces?
To be honest with you, I think that it has to be a buy-in from the people that makes you feel unsafe. You know what I'm saying? And I think that being a counterpart of the people that make you feel unsafe, you know what I'm saying, cishet black man, I think that there's moments that even I, you feel me, as me, you know what I'm saying, also, you know what I'm saying, feel that same unsafeness from the same people you talking about because of what my message is and because of the things that I stand on. You know what I mean? To me, I feel like, I'm just gonna spit a little academic shit. You know what I'm saying? It's a book by Horton Spillers. You know what I'm saying? The book is called I think it's Mama's Baby's Papa's Baby. You know what I'm saying? And the book is about the book is doing like a historical analysis of the Moynihan Report. You feel me? The Moynihan Report from like the 1970s, I think, when this white dude that was in the federal government went to like New York or something like that, and he was trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with black people. And pretty much his analysis and conclusion was that the reason why the black community is messed up and fucked up essentially is because black women head the community and black men are not the head of the community, right? So what Horton Spillers does a little work in talking about how the black community's dysfunctional nature is usually always inscribed onto black women, and how a lot of people within the black community kind of are conditioned within that misogynoir type, I hate black women type understanding, right? So for me, the reason why I'm bringing up Horton Spill is because she has a little line in there where she says that even black men have to affirm the black woman within. And I think that because our community is kind of so misogynistic, it'd be hard for us to kind of locate. Because to me, I see myself as a full being. You know what I'm saying? Like I got feminine energy, I got masculine energy. It is what it is. I'm that nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's how I present myself. You know what I mean? But I recognize that from a hood standpoint, it's hard for a lot of other fellow cis heterosexual men to really understand how, you know what I'm saying, femininity all runs through the, you know what I'm saying, energy runs through the community. You feel me? So I find it, so what I see is that people be insecure. You know what I'm saying? So shit, a nigga might be mad that I'm, you know what I'm saying, living my life unapologetic the way I am, and it makes him insecure because, you know what I'm saying, he might be down low, you feel me? Or, you know what I'm saying, he might have a very self-righteous understanding through the Bible and religion, you know what I'm saying, about why we should be able to be the head and why it's Adam and Eve and not Adam and Steve. And the way that I'm presenting it from an intellectual standpoint might piss him off. You know what I'm saying? So I just see it be different ways that people be invested in, black men particularly be invested in anti shit, like shit that's anti-black women, anti trans women, anti, you know what I'm saying, queer. I feel like all that because I feel like it be a lot of like there's no buy-in. You know what I'm saying? And to me, I see like macho masculinity about like domination. You feel me? So the same domination theory that niggas use to justify dominating black women, the same domination theory that black men use to justify dominating queer people, the same theory they'll justify dominating another nigga because they ain't big enough, because they pockets ain't big enough, because they arms ain't big enough, because they looked at them the wrong way, because they, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, to me, I think all those things, they kind of add on to it. You feel me? And I just, and to answer your question was more upfront, and then I stopped ranting. You know what I'm saying? I don't, as a black man, I just try to set a model. You know what I'm saying, or be a leader. I know that it's younger black people that look up to me, so I just try to be a leader and try to stand for shit that I know that we talk not to stand for, and try to make it I can.
In this kind of uptick in the movement, you know, we know that there have been work going on for since this country's inception in trying to dismantle white supremacy and anti-blackness, da 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 da. But there's a particular uptick that is happening with Black Lives Matter and the current movement in regards to where we are in social justice. And there, if you pay attention, what is different to me is that men are not the center of the leadership. You know, in the civil rights movement, you know, you had those like pillar men people, even Bayard Rustin, even though he was kind of silenced, but you know, you had the Malcolm X's, you had the Stokely Carmichaels, you had the Huey P. Newtons, you had the, you know, Martin Luther Kings, and they were, you know, women kind of, even though you had the Ella Bakers, they were kind of pushed down so that the men can lead because that was kind of respectable. But you know, it's a different day now, and so we see a lot of, you know, Tamika Mallory's and, you know, a lot of, you know, just powerful movement people who are femmes. And so, how do you feel about that? How do you
I think
feel about that shift?
I think it's amazing. As somebody that comes from a debate background, I think uniqueness is key in terms of like liberation and kind of move forward in terms of progression. When I say uniqueness, it's like a split or a departure from tradition, departure from history. And I think that, you know, I hate to be cliche about it, but they say insanity doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And in my opinion, I think that a lot of the liberation movements in this country has usually been headed by men, but I also think that if you come, I feel like one of my best friends, he was his grandmother, a Black Panther. You feel me? Shout out to Rasheed Campbell, everybody in East Oakland. You know what I'm saying? When I got to, when I get to go spend time in East Oakland, I always find it like kind of puzzling how a lot of the people on the ground in East Oakland talk about how Black women were doing a lot of the labor in terms of the rallying and organizing. It's just that it was when the media showed up, they loved them black men and them leathers and them braids. It was just something about their sexiness that made the camera kind of go into them. But, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the free breakfast programs, and a lot of people that was doing the pamphlets, and a lot of people that was setting up the meetings, and the, you know what I'm saying? It was like black women. So in my mind, and so I think of that Moynihan report. That's the reason I brought the Moynihan report. I think that it's something kind of different from a civilization standpoint. I feel like the Western world is like real patriarchal, and I think that black people, though we, you know what I'm saying, some of us kind of buy into plantation patriarchy, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like some of us recognize that Big Mama got more seniority than anybody in the family. I don't give a damn who we talking about, you know what I'm saying? I think kind of something that's consistent, you feel me, really throughout the country, especially in our communities, you feel me? Big Mama or whatever you want to call her, you know what I'm saying? She gonna have it, you know what I'm saying? Regardless if your daddy around, regardless if she married, regardless if mama was, you know what I'm saying, was there for you or not there for you, Big Mama say some shit, it was time to move, you know what I'm saying? And I just think about, like black mothering in that instance, but I think it's perfect. I think it's beautiful. I think it's amazing.
What I was watching a video, and it was these straight guys talking about just transness, and in the comments there was a lot of comments about how the Democrats, any kind of, and I've seen this in other videos and other in other topics. I hear them talk about any type of like more radical leftist ideology, when it comes to transness, when it comes to queerness, they always say the Democrats are pushing this on us, and these are black people. The Democrats is pushing this on us, and they're helping this along, and this is crazy. And in people on this side, we know that outside of race,
Yeah.
black men are usually conservative, and so align more with the conservative right than they care to admit. And so, what do you say to people like that who act like the Democrats are, bringing the coming of hell?
Man, to me, I think that when people talk about, to me, I call it like bipartisan bullshit. Is what I call it. And I think that you lost in the sauce of bipartisanship. To me, I think that when we start talking about structural issues, whether we're talking about heteronormativity or we're talking about white supremacy, and you start lumping it into this two-party shit, I start automatically questioning like your literacy and like your ability to critically think. You know what I'm saying? Because my mind, it's like if we're talking about, to me, like transphobia, we're talking about capital T trans violence. It's like, hey, liberals and conservatives implicated in that shit, man. The reason why now it's become a pinnacle time in history is because for so long in history, literally there's been a implication of two parties on the left and the right, literally being able to politically, socially, economically exclude LGBTQ issues, LGBTQ representation out of everything. So in my mind, it's like when people say that, it's like, hey, missing with that bullshit, man. Like to me, it's just like, and I usually just think about it that you can't think for yourself. You only can think about things through a political paradigm of a left and right, and you don't recognize that these are both two different wings of the same bird. And I'm a couch it in terms of white supremacy. That's how I was, you know what I'm saying, in terms of intersectionality. I understand how white supremacy create these essential norms, and these norms get inscribed in gender, class, race, ethnicity, religion, and we can literally trace a normativity through the lens of white supremacy of what is deemed as normal. And I think that when people start talking about, man, they trying to push it on the kids. And what about the kids? And listen, I ain't got nothing against that gay shit. That's how they say it. I ain't got nothing against that gay shit. But man, the kids, man, the kids too young to be doing this shit. See, I got 2 kids now too, right? And I'm a thinker. You know what I'm saying? I didn't watch all these damn Disney. I didn't watch, no cap, I done seen half of Disney's goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Man, in the past 3 years, right? And what I recognize is that from a heteronormative standpoint, my fellow cis heteronormative people will literally suspend they thinking about gender and sexuality when it's some heterosexual shit, right? I'm tired of watching Frozen. I'm tired of watching Frozen. I'm tired of watching Frozen. But shit, Elsa be, you know what I'm saying? They kissing. Anna and boy got a kiss in there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking of, all right, so when y'all getting mad about trans representation in these Disney movies and you say that sexuality is too young, you pushing on these kids, like, can you just keep it real and say, like, non-normative? When I say normative, I ain't saying like It's normal is good. I'm saying like normal in terms of societal perspective. It's like just say, don't lie and say kids shouldn't be. Listen, man, what? Man, Jasmine and Aladdin had a romance. You feel me? Simba and Nala, romance. We can keep on going. It's just like I just you feel me? In my rant with this to my fellow straight people, man. I don't know if I don't know how many of y'all watch it, but listen, people in the LGBT community, they don't just wake up one morning when they grown and be like, you know what? I'm gonna try this LGBTQ shit out. Like I don't think it be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? I'm gonna try this trans shit out this morning. You know what I'm saying? Stop it. It don't go like that.
So thinking about norms. So when we talk about let's talk about intimate partner violence. So when we talk about Black women, cisgender and trans, CDC was talking about that we are the demographic that has that are susceptible to intimate partner violence and homicide more than other, female demographics. And we are the least likely to date outside of our race. So adding those two together, it's our men that we're trying to keep safe.
Man, the last one was like, damn.
Yeah. And so, and the men that we have dedicated our lives to keep safe are actually the ones who are harming us. And people always act like, and I have to get on LGBT people about this too. Like they, let me see if I can explain this analogy. So there are certain things that are harming us. And I'm bringing it up because it's important and because of who my guest is. But this does not put other shit off the hook. So if I'm talking about intimate partner homicide, say I'm a little fish and intimate partner violence is a shark, okay? And it is chasing me. Yeah, it feels like in the moment, this feels like the most imminent threat. But really, white supremacy and, it's the pollution that the water that me and the shark is in. So although we are talking about intimate partner violence that is at the hands of Black men toward us, that doesn't mean that the pollution, the white supremacy, and the racism around us doesn't cause, that isn't harming both of us. Yes, I'm talking about this now because it's the most imminent threat, but that doesn't mean I'm taking everything off the hook. So if you are listening to this, I understand that there's a bigger structure that is causing these things to happen. But because this is the imminent danger, I want to bring light to it. And so that's why I'm asking you, what do you think is some things that we can do to, once again, it's all about safety. Like what are conversations that y'all are having? Because I think this is the work of cis men. This is the work of cis Black men. What are you all talking? Because I only hear denial. What are you all talking about in your circles when you all are alone that is helping dismantle this specific problem?
Man, me and my homies that's in debate. So I don't want to put no cap in my rap at all. It's something I wouldn't. I'll be having a hard time talking about simple shit like consent with my. You know what I'm saying? People that are like, yeah, hey, with the like-minded homies. We talk about intimacy, and we talk about non-sexual, non-sensual intimacy in spaces and places of Blackness, right? So what I know of a lot of cis men, we will kind of sometimes misread and or gas up a woman or some energy that we find appealing in any way, shape, or fashion that's showing any type of affirmation to us. And we would try to reciprocate that in terms of thinking, she's trying to fuck, or she's trying to get at me. You know what I'm saying? And we talk about how intimacy is not always sensual, and how when we start to try to inscribe intimacy, especially, you know what I'm saying, the like really try to make it where we vibe. You know what I'm saying? We meet each other at a rally. You feel me? You say something I like, I say something that you like, you know what I'm saying? and we start vibing. You know what I'm saying? But it's about black shit. White supremacy has nothing to do with romance, nothing to do with sex. You know what I'm saying? We start as straight men, me and my homeboy Damo, you know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, we even had a conversation of this on our podcast, Chopper, about, you know what I'm saying, like literal intimacy and how intimate spaces become dangerous for, you know what I'm saying, women, you feel me? Particularly black women that, you know what I'm saying, you might say, brother, I really like that. Man, or you might, man, what's your, you know what I mean? You might be interested, like you said. A brother gave a great analysis on white supremacy, and you was like, damn, good job, brother. You feel me? Masculinity sometimes so fragile. You know, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, niggas gotta recognize it, but we don't recognize it when we start to misread. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the entitlement towards women that I think that we have in terms of the more interpersonal, I think that sometimes it allows for men to misread interpersonal engagement from, you know what I'm saying, somebody they find attractive as being a also sign that you see me attracted, that you want to do something with me. And they can't recognize that maybe this is a intimate engagement that we are having, but this intimacy does not cause for sensual, you know what I'm saying, sexual. That's what it is. You feel me? And you know, like sometimes we just get into agreements and disagreements, but on the podcast we was able to bring on other black women. You feel me? And actually all of them, you know what I'm saying, weren't even straight. You feel me? But you know what I'm saying, you know, like I know, it don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Niggas is gonna shoot shot. You feel me? So we were just talking about how literally going into a space and place for progression, for empowerment, turns into a quickly and abrupt, you know what I'm saying, seconds, a dangerous space because we were talking about Toya. We were talking about R.I.P. Toya, Florida. We were talking about how black women can show up to these spaces trying to give some activist labor, and you know what I'm saying, somebody might be looking for some sexual labor, and then you gotta think about it. If I tell this nigga no, is he gonna pop me in the face? Is he gonna, you know what I'm saying, is he gonna beat me up? Is he gonna follow me home? And shit, really thinking about, you know what I'm saying, like power in those spaces.
And then the intersection of that with a trans person is like, if that what you just described is specifically for cis, but when you add the homophobia that comes and the transphobia that comes when I'm engaging just a regular person, and I'm at the club, and you know, as a trans woman, if you are attracted to me, I'm not deceiving you. This is who I am. This is who I am presenting. I don't have a costume on, and I'm not purposely saying, I gotcha. It's just, I'm here having to have a good time. I'm here to have fun. And you are seeing something in me that you find attractive. And I have to, in that moment, navigate when it is safe for me to tell you. And sometimes right there in that moment, it is not safe for me to tell you. Yes, no, I shouldn't be, taking it across the boundaries when it comes to physical. But a lot of times people are expecting me to say, oh, I'm a trans woman right there in the middle of the dance floor because you just came up and tried to hump me. Yeah. And no, I'm not going to do that, because if I tell you, you're going to then it turns into this ego thing, and you got to attack me. And I've been there.
I was talking about earlier in terms of the investment in the insecurities. Because I think when I talk about trans disclosure, I always think about how it is always, the responsibility is always flipped on to the trans person. But if you just look at the trajectory and shit, type in Google, you see it's a double bind. Shit, if I tell you I'm trans, you're gonna shoot me in the face. If I don't tell you I'm trans and you find out, you're gonna shoot me in the face. Well, goddamn, you know what I'm saying? And in my mind is, I hate to be that dogmatic, straightforward about it, but it's just like, hey man, I seen it, you know what I'm saying? And I just think that when it comes to that extra layer of, I feel like you can have the expectations of heteronormativity and then to fit into it and everything is good, but when it deviates outside the expectations of normativity, whew, man, that's when we know niggas crazy.
So when we think about like that investment, so I find it very, very strange that men are so invested in what other men are doing with their penises, what other men are doing in their bedroom. I find it very, very strange that when a cisgender man is caught, exposed, or reveals that he is in a relationship with a trans woman or having any type of queer relationship, that men are so viscerally move to talk about it and be offensive and be like, they will sit in hours and hours about this man saying, "Oh, he's gay," and blah 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 blah. Why is there so much investment from men in other men's sexuality? And what's the return on that investment? What are they getting out of being invested in other men's sexuality? What's the return?
Hey man, you going? Hey, what time is it? 11:34. That time. I think that homoeroticism. I know that a lot of people in the community ain't really familiar with that term. You know what I'm saying? But I think that homoeroticism, and you know what, I didn't put the Google for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I can give it to you. And how I think about homoeroticism, I think about homoeroticism as kind of a same sex attraction that's sexual but not sex. You know what I'm saying? So in my mind, I think of like a lot of
and it's tethered to power.
Always tethered to power. Always already tethered to power, and that's what and that's what pisses niggas off. Is that it's like you're breaking the God code in terms of how we recognize power. You know what I'm saying? I feel like how power is supposed to flow through us and with us, and you fucking it up. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, it's like there are a lot of experiences that us as cis men have that I think that are very structured by homoeroticism. That I think that we're conditioned to see as being cool. Like niggas getting dressed up and get cool. Like me and the boys, we finna throw on our best shit. We finna go to the strip club. You know what I'm saying? And though it's gonna be other women at the strip club, you going to the strip club to have erections around each other. That's what we know we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do that. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Or thinking about how a lot of cis men, a lot of our experiences to, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, porn to be like, hey, oh boy say he got a tape. He got his uncle tape. Y'all wanna go watch it? Shit, it's 4 of us with a dick out. You know what I'm saying? And we are now watching, you know what I'm saying? In my mind, it's like a lot of things that I think that are structured in terms of homoeroticism that I think that we not seen to, because I feel like power, I feel like power always want to go unnamed and unidentified. So of course homoeroticism has power, so we don't call it that. It's the God code. It's, you know what I'm saying? Should I lie for my, you know, Future said some shit, I lie to my bitch, but I won't lie to my nigga or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? He said something. He said it was a recent one, like line. You feel me? Yeah. And niggas was like, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you know. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, nigga, what? I'm married. You feel me? So I'm thinking like, nigga, what? You know what I'm saying? What? You feel me? But I'm thinking about how the kinship. That's the word I want to use. Kinship in terms of, you know, male. You know what I'm saying? Bromance, bros for hoes. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you know. All to me, all of that is like structured homoeroticism in terms of kinship, and then with that kinship you get power. And I think that when you break codes or standards of the kinship, you lose power, and or the kinship feel that it's being came for or being threatened. You know what I'm saying? I'll just keep it philosophical, theoretical, and that's how I would explain it. Of course, I could develop that analysis a little bit more, but I'll leave it alone.
So this is my last question. So how do we bring cis men into the fold in our movements? And you know, what is the inroads that we can bring them on to help keep particularly trans women safe? Because, you know, just today, yesterday 2 trans women was murdered. And you know, and it's Black trans women, of course. And I'm just trying to, as an organizer, I'm the executive director of a nonprofit that is doing this work. And I really don't know how to make inroads with cis men in order to, you know, stop it from happening. And so what would some of your suggestions be?
Man, I'm a preface this, but I definitely think I'm about to answer this question from a position of privilege. Cause I recognize that we talked about a lot of different violence that different Black trans women, Black women go through in terms of trying to build these relationships with cis hetero men. And sometimes, you feel me, or a lot of times kind of have these cathartic violent reactions to whatever. There were a lot of Black trans women, Black queer people, Black gender non-conforming people that took the time, really had some real meaningful conversations with me, and really took patience and really had patience to, I feel like, really, I think, in some moments, I feel like probably was more of an asshole trying to debate maybe some more, violent, using violent rhetoric to try to prove a point. But I think that it was women, it was people that took their time with me, man. And I recognize the reason why I say it's from a privilege, because I think that a lot of cis hetero men don't have to risk a lot in terms of being worked on. You feel me? Most we have to give up is a little bit of status, but you know what I'm saying, our humanity, our existence, our livelihood is not came for in the way that a black woman or a black trans woman or a black non-gender non-conforming person would have to risk with trying to, maybe teach a motherfucker some shit. You feel me? And they had to come at the expense of maybe you kicking my ass because we have a little mere disagreement. Or you want to, so that's why I'm saying from privilege. You feel me? But I know that there has been people that have took the privilege. I mean, took giving me the privilege and took time and patience with me and really made me see some shit from different. You know what I'm saying? But I also too think that I'm an educator. I think that being an educator, I really believe that sometimes the more critical education can't happen unless the student is ready to learn. And in this instance, black men, we are the students. You feel me? And it's a lot of us. You feel me? That shit we don't be want to learn. Be invested in lies, so be mad at the truth. You know what I'm saying? Shit. You know what I mean? I think that's a reality. I'm just keeping it a stack with you, keeping it real with you.
Yeah.
I know a lot of things you have to risk that if you want to go teach black men about how to merely care for the existence of trans women. I recognize that it's gonna be a risk. So people like me, I feel like try to be as loud as possible. I know privilege and power. I can listen to privilege and power, but you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Niggas been saying shit for 100 years. A white person repeated to another white person, they be like, "Oh my God, I didn't think about it." Man, niggas been saying that shit for 100 years. I peep game where it's like, a lot of my videos that's went viral about intersex or about trans or about black women is shit that black women and shit that trans women have been saying for centuries. The only thing about it is that now I'm a cisgender heterosexual black man that has a position of privilege and power that people listen to me on particular subjects they might listen to you about, I might listen to them about. So I recognize that with my position of being, cis, hetero, dreadlocks, tall, educated, I recognize all these different aesthetics. So my identity gives me the ability to bring people in. And I just try to use my platform to make it where I'm trying to break through more ignorant notions of consciousness that niggas have that might get them. It might get you fucked up. It get me fucked up too, but it's not. It's different scales. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I do what I do and how I try to do it. Like,
well, I appreciate what you do, and I appreciate you having the courage to speak truth to power, and that's why you're here, and I appreciate it, and I could hope that you continue to do it. If you are a cis man, make sure you follow him, and tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, man. I'm at the consciously, spelled TheConscious. I have to think about it, like how I spell that. But yeah, the consciously spelled. I feel like phonetically correctly, quote unquote correctly, the consciously on all social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all that. You know what I'm saying? Education is elevation is my motto. I consider myself an edutainer. That's when entertainment and education collides. Don't fuck with me, I'm real.
All right. Well, I will put all his links down in the bottom in the show notes. Thank you for just spending time with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you too. Appreciate you. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna make sure we gonna bring you on to the chop up so you can tell us about the work that you're doing.
I'm ready.
Tell us about, ways that us cis people can, figure out what the hell, how to be an accomplice and not an ally. You feel
Amen.
Me? Niggas, you gonna risk some shit or you gonna
you with me? Or you standing on the sidelines cheering me on? I ain't got time.
I want you to ride with me. You feel me? You ain't riding with me, then don't ride with me. Don't be over here at all. So that's what I do. You feel me? In conclusion, GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com is where my website. You can find anything about booking. I actually travel the country doing different workshops, facilitation about diversity and inclusion, and about professional development. If you're interested, that's where you'll find that at GeorgeLeeSpeaks.com.
Yeah, and I'll put it in the bottom. So thank y'all for listening. Have a great day.
Man, hey, I'm gonna be sending you the email for the chop up. I'm sending you the email right now.
Okay. Thank you, darling.
Thank you.
We go.